Hello there, commanders, and welcome to another battle from the War Games Institute 2 tournament. Tournament number 2. I don't really know, but it is a semi-final between SUNTZU and War Games Institute team itself. Second battle from the semi-final, SUNTZU won the first one on Salernum. That was SUNTZU's pick. Now War Games Institute has picked Marathon as their map of preference. And a little bit of a disclaimer here, I am recording my previous recording rather than the actual replay, because there was a patch, which means I can no longer view old replays. Thank you, CA, please fix. Either way, so this is the recording of the previous battle. So there will also be no sounds of the game, because if I enable sound, you'll just hear my previous commentary, and that would be pretty weird. And that commentary was a very much failed attempt, or rather a meme attempt of sorts. Either way, maybe one day you will see that meme recording. But yeah, here we are doing a serious thing. So, SUNTZU has now engaged with pikes on top of C. Max versus Slayer Boxer going at it, but Slayer Boxer has support of dogs. Max has some support of Arcleon as well, so he has Caesar buffs, but just damage of dogs is overwhelming. But SUNTZU is sending some reinforcements. Cheddar and Mistro are incoming to C. Javelins will be able to deal with those pikemen quite nicely. We got double volley of focus fire. But Fire Shade is called out. That will be an opportunity to use Vici, either by Arcleon or Mistru. They're both playing Caesar, and Cheddar would be able to go and engage the pikes while they were in Fire in the Shade. And Mistru has now decided to relieve the drama from the previous battle and get himself obliterated by archers. Nonetheless, that is not going to stop SUNTZU from pushing through the hill. They have a huge advantage over there. B is also being engaged. Forces on C are now being surrounded. Last remaining unit is Archenons, and when C unlocks in 40 seconds, it looks to be under control of War Games Institute, pretty much uncontested. Sivor and Max are still in the area. Quo has an opportunity to maybe go with his cavalry there and oath, but the presence of pikes is not very promising, so Quo decides to go and charge on top of B instead, where Archeon and LTAA are still holding off the War Games Institute team outside of the point, which is very good of them. Speaking of being on top of the point, SUNTZU has already made it on top of the point D, and are now finishing the last two remaining units. They managed to rout the Leonidas of CVV, and they're also cutting down the Elephant with just an overwhelming numbers advantage in there, and all the units that actually, units and commanders had countered that Elephant. But getting point D is not going to be enough, as War Game City is already capturing C, and B also looks to be captured soon, as Mike Pompeo shows up with all three units there, flank squad and LTIA and Arcanon. LTIA looks to be routed soon. Quo needs to also disengage if he wants to avoid the same fate. There we go, LTIA. Oh, almost routed, but no, he decided to drop a flank. He decided that he's no longer flanked. After all, Arena's morale system is a very reliable one. Well, Quo disengages, uses a charge to get away from the engagement, and maybe he'll find an opportunity to oath on top of the point in there. Now, as we transition, Mistru has definitely not run into enemy cavalry because he wasn't paying attention. That definitely did not happen. So let's pay attention to B instead, where Quo is definitely paying attention and showing enemies how it's done, which is just you walk onto a point and oath and buy your team a lot of time. That being said, there's like 2, 3, maybe even 4 players of War Games, not with all the units, but there's a lot of forces here being thrown on top of B, trying to get control of it, which means C would be under less protection, which then in turn is an opportunity for SUNTZU to push. SUNTZU has now healed up after conquering D, and is heading down towards C, which is very protected, and we can see a lot of War Games units in the healing zone area that is provided by C. So SUNTZU really needs to be fast if they want to capture C before any reinforcements arrive, because if they do, that fight is going to be quite an uphill fight despite being downhill. See what I did here? CPU 20 already with his archers on top of C, aiming a barrage at Mistru, maybe not a barrage. But either way, Mistru is getting wrecked, and we don't definitely want to see this, so Mistru wisely moves the camera away. Yeah, okay, never focus. Okay. Ooh, that was a powerful green dragon strike. Did you see what happened to those dogs? Yeah, let's pay attention to that. Elephant is also being finished off by Mistru. This is deployed on top of his javelins, but it is not going to mitigate all the damage. Mistru needs to get rid of that elephant, but sadly, while that elephant is almost finished off, a second elephant makes it on top of the point to contest it, as all the other infantry units provided by Wargame Studio team are being kept away from the point. So the win condition for SUNTZU right now is getting rid of that elephant and not letting any other infantry enter the point while the elephant is being dealt with. But Mistru here makes a crucial mistake, gets too close to the elephant uses roar, and that means that Mistru is going to lose all 3 of his units. And we see now Foxmen and Pikemen approaching from different sides. Cavalry is also trying to get on top of the point. Fire Ring is providing that. And SUNTZU, well, they still have quite a lot of infantry on top of C. Let's see if they can keep all the other infantry away. My computer is being stopped by Archeon. I believe that's outside of the point. Slayer Boxer has made it on top of the point with his pikes, but the pikes are quickly surrounded and killed off. It all still hinges on that elephant being dead, but SUNTZU doesn't really have any resources to deal with them. And Mistru gets his camera teleported as he respawns. Would be very much better if he just didn't die in the first place. But yeah, let's focus on this engagement here. Wargame Studio is also trying to apply pressure on top of D, so maybe SUNTZU relieves the pressure on C in return and allows them to get on over the point. That being said, that elephant is still very much a nuisance, and SUNTZU is trying to deny the healing zone here at C. Civoar, Nexus, and Cheddar are sending their units there. Cheddar is retreating back to hold D, and while the camera is not showing that, let's talk maybe a little bit about the roster changes that have happened between the 2 battles, as Hacksaw Ninja was getting disconnected in the previous battle, which is some insider knowledge that I do possess for some reason. He got replaced by 5, which is definitely not Nexus. So that also meant Mishet went over to Dogs. Nexus is playing Hannibal definitely not Nexus, triple Spears, which means no elephants for the SUNTZU teams, which they might now be paying quite a high price for. Being said, yeah, there we go, the elephant is now pushing through to point D to start contesting it. Cheddar should be able to deal with it, but there are also a lot of reinforcements coming from down below from the other ramp. Max is being sent to deal with an elephant, but those dogs will be able to counter them. That being said, they're being recalled. Fanif is coming up with handlers as well. He's with 1 unit, as he sends the other unit of dogs the other way to help at C, as that point is still being contested, which we are not going to see because I said that was a failed meme attempt. Either way, Slayer Boxer is trying to put his pikes on top of D, as C is now looking more and more under control, and Wargame Studio team is getting ahead in points with only 1 point per second for SUNTZU team and 2.2 points per second for the Wargame Studio team. Pikes versus Pikes, Slayer Box is definitely getting better at that engagement. I think Max just didn't deploy his pikes as he was afraid of dealing friendly fire to Cheddar, and now both Max and Cheddar are paying a high price of dying anyway to those pikes. Elephant managed to avoid the pike friendly fire this time around, but Cheddar is in there together with Civoar, trying to maybe get some flanks, trying to just contest the point for as long as possible. Civoar, Cheddar, and Mishet is also sending his dogs after the other pike unit. Dogs are finding a charge, and pike unit cannot escape. It can't go into pike phalanx, it won't help them anyway, but Mishet is looking to put his handlers to work as well. or maybe not. He decides to go against the other pike phalanx, and the pikes are dealing well with the dogs anyway, because they have shield bash, and dogs actually do not counter pikes, apparently. Well, that is thanks to the latest patch that, if you remember, removed dogs' immunity to strikes, and that also made them unable to actually counter what they are supposed to counter, more or less. And D is now not contested anymore, as Civoar really tries to get at the rear of those pikemen that are in front of the point. The Slayer Boxer, no, he will stay inside the point, but he will not deploy pike phalanx. He also goes in, so D is no longer being captured. It is being captured by the elephant, as he tried to go for a second pike phalanx. He does not. He runs into Civoar, which means he's unable to deploy pike phalanx. A huge mistake by Slayer Boxer, and now he's being caught off guard of pike phalanx. Essentially, he tries to shield bash his way out of it, but he cannot, as Max pushes in together with dogs, so they'll make sure that he cannot enter pike phalanx. But they still need to deal with that elephant. Can they stop him in place and allow pikes to do their thing? Looks like they can, but the elephant is going to run away. And D will be under control, kept under control of SUNTZU, and that crucial healing zone that they very much need is going to be kept alive. In the meantime, Mishru has managed to get wrecked again. I wonder how that may have happened. But he is now healing, regrouping with Civoar. Mishet, after that push to B, has been dealt with, and now they can focus on getting control back of C, as the point is still being contested. You can see a large force, the wargame is being gathered around the healing zone itself, and SUNTZU is now finally capturing point C. I wonder how that happened. Either way, Kwa has managed to defeat the enemy dogs, chase them away. Oh, last second charge by Fiery Wing, very, very nice. Gazanov of C prevents the point from being captured, but he is Vichi'd by Arcleon. He cannot go into off perseverance. Now, there we go, another Vici. He had a very, very small window of opportunity, but he didn't use it. He didn't use off of perseverance, and just that amount of infantry devoured him instantly. So now SUNTZU has regained control of C. Now they control 3 points versus just 2 of Wargames Institute, which means they will slowly crawl back the advantage they have lost. Or, well, I don't know if they ever had any in the first place. Maybe just a little bit at the very beginning. Either way, now both teams will be looking to regroup and make sure the lines are put together in order, so that Wargame Institute can launch a powerful attack either at C or D and start contesting it, get the point advantage back on their side, and SUNTZU will be looking to prevent that from happening. And when CV is lagging here a little bit, but that doesn't matter because he has Fight in the Shade and doesn't take any damage. Mishu switches a different target, finds some damage there. Pop is engaging CVV frontally with his Leonidas of CVV. Now he's getting flanked, there we go, right flank by Cheddars. I have no idea how that was a right flank, but okay. Hold the line is called out. Will it be enough? No, it's not enough. The unit has been flanked from all sides. Apparently not anymore. Not a single... Oh no, I clicked on the other unit. Okay, that doesn't matter. The other unit was Vichi'd by me, there we go, and now also obliterated. Yeah, SUNTZU is cleaning house around in the area as Wargame Studio is looking to regroup. Where are their units? We don't really see that. They're mostly in the forest, most likely, as Kwa is now pushing in there and revealing that that healing zone is most likely being used by all the players that died trying to defend and keep C alive. So we can expect a huge amount of forces from Wargame Institute around point B, which SUNTZU is now attacking. They are not attacking with a large force, although, so they're not attacking with a large force, so it most likely will not look very good. Let's see on the minimap. I can also see some units coming out from the east side. A Wargame Institute really likes, seems to be to like anyway, their strategy of attacking point C, or any point for that matter, from multiple angles, as long as that's available. So they're spawning on different respawn zones and attacking it from all sides. And now elephants are pushing through as a lot of units have respawned here for the forest. As you can see, a lot of forces emerging also from the east side, trying to extend the front line, find a gap, get some units on top of C, maybe surround the units that have here or largely overextended from the SUNTZU side, here pushing through the forest. They have no support of the javelins because they need to deal with the elephants first. And Archleon and Max are looking to have their units cut down in here, Quo in here as well. Well, he can always disengage, it wouldn't be that big of a problem for him. But that push towards B is definitely not looking good. Elephants seem to have been dealt with, and C is still not under the pressure. So Wargame students are sending their units mostly through the forest towards B to reinforce it. They're also sending some other players to possibly start contesting C or D or both to distract the SUNTZU team. And as it looks right now, Wargame Student is actually launching an attack on SUNTZU's base. If you can see there in the top of your screen, there we go. Dogs and Mike Pompeo swords are going towards SUNTZU's base. Quo has spotted them with his cavalry, so SUNTZU needs to react to it. We see Archleon recalling. Is he the only one recalling, or is there more? At the moment I don't see anybody else. There we go. Now it is Archleon and LTAA. Archleon had only one unit retreating. LTAA doesn't even wait for a heal. With that being said, he is pretty much full HP on all three of his units. Archleon needs to bring back his, and that's what he does. Quo is trying to delay the enemy, still manages to spot them, but that also means that there are less units, fewer units defending point B in the forest. LTI and Quo going forward to face the enemy trying to approach the base. They're also sending Asuka Saika with his infantry and at least 2 elephants. But Quo and Mishet are looking to flank the force that is attacking the base as well. Dogs have been sent. 1 unit of swords of Mike Pompeo has been sent to delay all the forces that have emerged out of the base that have recalled. And all the other units that were attacking are now retreating towards the center plains. They have managed to take away a large force, at least 6 infantry units. They made them recall. Mistru has in the meantime been killed in the center, and contest for point C is starting. So that looks like a very, very solid tactic from the Wargame strategy. They managed to get 6 units away from the main plains by baiting an attack on the base that SUNTZU needed to respond to, otherwise they would be in very much trouble. So they're preventing the base capture, but now they are paying the price for it. So a very, very good trade, very good maneuver by the Wargames Institute. But SUNTZU still has some forces on top of C. Healing zone on C is being denied, but SUNTZU still has access to that healing zone that point D provides, and that one is not being denied. That being said, Mistru really wanted to spawn here at C, but he changed his mind. And luckily for us, or for his team, as we are definitely not on either of the team's side. Sivar, Max, and Nexus are coming in on top of C, and that situation is reversed from the previous battle. Now SUNTZU holds the point but has only 1 unit inside and desperately tries to get more units in. But the Wargame Studio doesn't have that many melee units on top of C, so they cannot really prevent other units from slipping through. Let's see if any SUNTZU players find some success. Cheddar is now losing a lot of morale. Hope could have made it in, but he decided against it. But luckily, Max have just abused the power of right-click and right-click his way through on top of the capture point, because now he is the only unit remaining that could contest. Mistru has healed up, sent some volleys into that huge blob of infantry, and as the past Mistru shows us, SUNTZU is now ahead of the points, about 250 points ahead. Cavalry is sneaking around, trying to find another charge into Mistru. Pikes are pushing through as well. So if Mistru goes forward, he dies to pikes. If he goes backwards, he dies to cavalry. That situation has repeated itself multiple times. Mistru still manages to find himself in situations where he gets easily killed. Just look at the damage provided by the pikes. That's pretty much all pikes damage. Cavalry has barely touched Mistru at all. So those pikes are really, really devastating. Mishu positions himself on top of the cliff, tries to get rid of the other pikemen, as he is the best counter that SUNTZU has available to them. Kuo has managed to get himself on top of the point, and that could also enable more of SUNTZU infantry to get on top of the point and definitely make the push of War Games Institute weaker. Mishu is being forced to retreat, so he can no longer provide any support. And SUNTZU has also LTI the force that was on top of the base, while the War Games Institute committed a large force towards C. SUNTZU tried to cap B and put pressure on there, which also meant that the forces that were meant to attack C from the War Games Institute team had to stay on top of B or risk losing it. There we go. Well, they picked holding point B rather than contesting point C, and that's essentially what happened. They keep holding B, but they are losing the fight on C. That being said, after the force at B has been dealt with, all those forces that were defending it are now heading towards C, at least some of them, as most of them retreated towards the forest. So it is possible that another launch, they will be launching another attack towards the base. Mishu is now helping to clean up any remaining unit at C, make sure it is no longer contested, and that SUNTZU team can also regroup and heal. And we can already see there in the far background that indeed there are forces being sent towards SUNTZU's base. So War Games Institute is trying to use that tactic again. It worked pretty well last time for them. Arcleon is recalling again. Cheddar is going to join him. There we go. Is anybody else recalling? Doesn't seem like it, at least for the time being. Faniv is already almost on top of the base. With 3 of his units, dogs are sent back to delay any units that would like to come back to the base in the traditional way. Actually, 3 players of SUNTZU have recalled. LTA has also joined them. Cheddar didn't even heal, which may be a mistake, but only 1 of his units is damaged. The other 2 are pretty much fine, so it won't matter that much. And the dogs are called off, the handlers, but just by putting 3 units, even without the dogs, just the handlers have managed to force 9 units of SUNTZU to come back. So maybe a little bit of miscommunication there about who's going back. So now that means that point C is largely being exposed, and a huge amount of infantry is now pouring out of the forest as War Games Institute kept SUNTZU guessing. They hid in the forest, faint attacked on the base, and now all those forces that could have been going to the base through the swamps undetected now turn out that they were in fact in the forest, and it is the last ditch attempt from the War Games Institute team to capture point C, and they definitely have an advantage in this area. Cavalry tries to get on top of Mishu's javelins, but Mishu managed to stop it last second with his handlers. That is not going to be a very good counter though. That's why Kuo comes in just to find a flank and Warcry, but it is not going to be enough to route firing. Firing is also trying to do the very same thing on the other side, but has also been stopped by dogs and Kuo. Mishu is firing some harassing volleys into the infantry that is going towards C, but he himself cannot go towards C as he is essentially cut off by all the cavalry and folksmen in the area. And SUNTZU is now doing the repeat of what happened last time and managed to work last time. Kuo is going to deny any healing zone or reinforcements coming into B. There we go. Dogs have healed in there. Kuo finds a really nice charge. Dogs release the very last second to alleviate a little bit of the damage and counter charge essentially, but B may be actually flipped as only Elephant is remaining on top of B and is surrounded by Cheddar, who is a counter to the Elephant. Dogs, the handlers, are coming in. Arcleon will need to stop them before they get on top of B if they want to get the point captured, at least quicker than it otherwise would be. And Mishu has finally managed to find a gap to get on top of C and provide some fire support in there. B is now being flipped as the Elephant has been killed. Dogs are stopped by Kuo on top of the healing zone. Folksmen are trying to heal there. Kuo is not going to intercept them and prevent them from healing, so that brings another unit and heals one of them up, but B is now flipped, so any more healing cannot be done, or spawning out of that point cannot be done. C is also now almost under control of SUNTZU, as Mistru runs into pike phalanx that definitely shouldn't be there. And that is going to look like SUNTZU's victory. Less than 200 points away from victory with 3 points per second gained. And units on C from the War Games Institute almost wiped out. There we go. B has been captured, 6 points per second now. C has been cleared. And those are the final results on the scoreboard. Yeah, Jelly still does the most damage. Definitely you should showcase that. Yeah, let's just forget about how many times he died, right? But yeah, let's look at the pikes. The pikes on the enemy team, the War Games Institute team, have done really well with their right clicks, and that has been it. SUNTZU advances to the final with the score 2-0, and they're going to face White Wolves, a combination of White Eagles and Iberian Wolves in there. Please look forward to it, and I'll see you there and on Arena's battlefields, Commanders.